This is the 2026 Cadillac Vistiq. Is it a better option than the Escalade IQ? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Now, I borrowed this model from a friend of mine, so I can't tell you that there's a link in the description of the video for this model the way I normally do. But we're going to give you all the details in case it's something you're looking for. And something I wasn't able to do in my last Vistiq video is a test drive. We're doing that today, so that will be a little bit different, a little bit of an added bonus. Very attractive body lines. Obviously, it's more in line with the XT6 than it is with the Escalade IQ. It's not quite as big, but that also means it's not quite as expensive. We're going to have all-wheel drive with the 21-inch wheels. Now, you'll notice the design of the wheels. Believe it or not, this is meant to be aerodynamic. It's going to help out with keeping your charge capacity as high as possible for as long as possible. And you will find some gloss black, not only with the surround on the fenders here, and also around the body, the lower portion of the body and the doors and everything that you see there. But it works. I think it looks nice. Everything as far as your exterior lighting goes is going to be LED. A little bit hard to see here in the bright Louisiana sunshine, with the exception of what we have over here on the right-hand side of the screen. It's on the driver's side. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and yes, LED turn signal indicators. Now, those actually are in motion as they appear to be on the screen. A lot of the time I tell people that only has to do with looking through the lens of my GoPro, but that movement that you see is actually happening. You will have your front view camera and illumination in this area as well. You can't see it right now, but that is going to be illuminated. You will find the active shutters down here that will help with keeping the battery nice and cool. An all-wheel drive model, that's going to bring a lot of benefits in a multitude of ways. Here is where your charge port will be located. We're just going to push on the charge port door, and you can charge depending on what your option is or where you are. You can use a DC fast charger, and to close that, we'll just hold that button down for just a brief second, and the charge port door will close. We'll have the turn signal indicators built in to our heated and power adjustable side view mirrors. You can hopefully see there's your blind spot monitoring. They are power folding, and we'll open the vehicle real fast just so I can show you that these are indeed power folding side view mirrors. Now, there are a couple of different ways you can do that. You can use the button right there. You can also go into your center screen, and there's a setting where you can make those fold also. You can see these are also going to be soft closed doors. When you come to the vehicle, it will actually pop the door handles open. I have the remote inside so that I can show you the exterior lighting. Everything will stay on, but the door handles will present themselves to you, and you just pull on that, or you can lock and unlock, obviously, and have that work out. Kind of an interesting design. As far as the window goes right here, what do you think about that? Just something to set the Vistiq apart, maybe from the competition. A little bit more of a gloss finish up here on the top, also with the roof rails and the shark fin antenna. We'll finish things off here with LED lighting on the rear. It's all on the front. It's also all here on the rear. The rear window wiper is concealed neatly away within the rear roof spoiler. Now, this model can tow up to 5,000 pounds if that's something you're looking for. There's your Vistiq logo. And if you're wondering what the 900 is, that actually is the torque spec in Newton meters. One thing I definitely like here is if you choose to open the hood. It is not a frunk, believe it or not, but you pull the release in the interior 2 times, and that allows you to just come and lift the hood. You don't have to look for a latch. 615 horsepower, and if you're wondering what 900 Newton meters in torque translates to in foot-pounds or pounds-feet, as people often say, we're looking at 650 foot-pounds. Here is one of the electric motors. There are dual electric motors here, and you're looking at a driving distance of about 305 miles on a single charge. And your MPGEs will be 94 city, 78 highway, and 87 combined. And on a DC fast charger, you're looking at about 79 miles in 10 minutes. Here is the remote, all of the typical features you would expect to find here. I do think that Cadillac should do more of an EV-specific remote, or key fob as some call it, but this is what we have: lock, unlock, remote start. You can open and close your power tailgate, and you have your panic button right there. And if you want to open the power tailgate, there's a number of ways that can be done, one of which being you can just push the logo, the Cadillac logo right there. You can use the remote. There's also an option in the interior itself. How about your cargo capacity? 15.2 cubic feet behind the rear seats. When you fold the third row flat, you're looking at 43 cubic feet. And when you fold the middle row and you maximize your cargo space, you're looking at 80.2 cubic feet. We're going to have our lighting here in the rear. We'll keep things nice and bright when you're working after dark with your cargo space. And I really like how this floor works. You can keep your charge cable and whatever else will fit down here, but notice wherever I put it, it just stays there. That's very nice. It's not going to fall down on you or anything like that. Not that that would hurt because it's extremely light. And you have all of your controls here for raising and lowering the rear seats. Now you can only lower the middle seats. You can't bring those back up, but you can bring the rear seats back up. And obviously you'll have to put the headrests back in place, but you can see how all of that works. And believe it or not, while this is obviously not the Escalade IQ, there is still a lot of space in all three rows. And we'll take a look into the interior. Quite a bit going on here. Very comfortable, very plush, as you would expect, typical of Cadillac. You can lock and unlock the doors from the passenger doors back here and obviously roll the windows down. In fact, let's do the test to see how far they go down. Do they go all the way? Yes, they do, for those who like to know about that. And everything is one touch, as you can see, to lower and raise the windows. Now, one little note that might be helpful to you the first time that you lower these seat backs down, you will have to actually pull up on this release to get the seat backs to go back up. Otherwise, you're going to just be pulling and they won't move. Just something to note that will make things easier to deal with. And there is the panoramic sunroof. It does have a power shade, which is right here, that can be drawn back and forth depending on what you need to do with the lighting as far as what's coming in and what's not. The front portion will open, and we will hit the button right here and get the seat up and out of the way. Now you want to push that seat up to get it out of the way. So let's hop inside here. Hopefully the microphone doesn't make a bunch of staticky noise while I'm doing this, but we're gonna pull the seat back here and get everything back in place. Now, there is a decent amount of space back here. For me, the floor is a little bit high, so I feel a little bit cramped because my feet are sitting up high, but that's just the way that it is. And you also have your sunroof right here. You're gonna have the shade right there that can be drawn back and forth as well. But there is a decent amount of space head space wise. We have the cup holder right there. That's gonna be nice and useful. And the air conditioning vent that is located down here. Personally, I prefer to have those in the roof line. That way they're closer to your passengers, but that's just the way that it is. Now these seats do slide back and forth. So let me move over here to the passenger side, and you can see that I have a good bit more leg space. I can stretch out into the pass-through depending on what I need to do to get comfortable if I was sitting in the third row. And there is the third row view of the panoramic sunroof. And now the power shade has been drawn forward just to show you how that looks. Then you'll find the armrests here built into the seats themselves. They're actually pretty long. Usually that's what I complain about, is they're not long enough. However, I wish they were a little bit wider, but that works, not too big of a deal. We're gonna have our rear seat pockets right here and the command center for the second and third zones of climate control. We're gonna have the second row right there, the third row right there. You can adjust fan speed, temperature. You can sync everything together if you want to. You can set it to auto. You do have the heated seats here in the second row. Definitely not necessary in the mid-90s here in Northwest Louisiana today. And you can go in and adjust the ambient lighting. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a dark enough atmosphere to really show you the ambient lighting in today's video, but you can see that it is indeed here, and plenty of space within the back seat. Obviously more than the second row, or third row, I should say. So if you're looking for ample leg space as a passenger, you either need to call shotgun, grab the remote and drive, or sit here in the second row. Here in the front seat area, we find our upper console. This will control your power shade. So we push that button and it goes back. The good thing is you don't have to hold it down. You can see my hand isn't on the switch. And you will also be able to open and close it right there. And you can see what else is here. Now, there are a lot of controls in these two screens. We'll get to those shortly because I know a lot of you are going to want to know what is there. And we can hit the button right there. As you can see, that opens the glove box. just to show you what's in that area. Nice, comfortable seating throughout the interior, and I like that you have your controls on the door panel for your seats as far as all of that goes, all of the different controls and heated and ventilated functionality and everything. It's all there, easy to deal with, very comfortable seats. Going to have the speakers built into the headrests, so great audio quality. The rear view camera mirror is here. If you don't want to use that, obviously you can flick that lever right there down and you're good to go. Now you have seat memory over here on the driver's side. I think you should also have it on the passenger side. It just depends on what you want as far as all of that goes. And we also have that button on the driver and passenger side doors that activates the massage function. And obviously everything here, I think you pretty much know what's here as far as the controls go. You can lock and unlock everything, and we will do that. Push your buttons right here to control your side view mirrors and your windows. And you have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. There is the control for that. It is power adjustable, by the way. All of your steering wheel mounted controls and your driver's display. A nice modern look as far as that goes. Here's your shifter and the controls for not only your headlights, or excuse me, your turn signal indicators, not the headlights. Actually, I'll show you where that is in just a second. Turn signal indicators and also your windshield wipers front and rear. And here is where you control everything for your headlights. It would be nice to have physical controls, but I guess Cadillac thinks that EVs should have controls in the screen. I told you there was a lot there, but you know, the good news is you can go to auto and just leave it there. Just set it and forget it, right? Very simple to deal with as far as that goes. And we'll find our center screen here with Google Assistant, so you can ask a lot of questions and get a lot of answers. You got the Play Store there, and all of our different camera views all over the Vistiq. Everywhere you need to see, you can see. Depending on what it is you want to do, you can go to the overhead view right there. If I push that hard enough, side view, and the hitch view. We'll go back up here because you can also use the front view camera or the rear view camera. It just depends on what you want to see. So you can see in a couple of different ways how that works. And we hit exit to get out of that. And depending on what you need to do charging wise, we'll go right there. We're going to do that and show you what's going on. You can see that we have 80% charge, and completion time would be about 10 minutes. That's not too bad to get 20% charge. But one thing I know people like to ask me about a lot has to do with the safety features. As far as your driving aids go, let's get into vehicle right here, and I'll show you how that works. Now, you can go into drive mode customization as well. So depending on what you want to do, you can do a lot right there. But back to our safety features, let's hit that area right here. As far as your collision and detection systems, you've got your alert type, forward collision warning, front pedestrian braking, intersection collision braking, adaptive cruise speed from signs. We also have adaptive cruise go notifier, side bicyclist alert, lane change alert, reverse automatic braking, park assist, rear cross traffic braking, and rear pedestrian alert. Now, let me show you something else here that is very important for you to know about. When it comes to turning the vehicle off, this is how you do it. We're going to select right there, and you can hit off or you can hit cancel. And you can also make sure that the vehicle stays on when you're maybe in a parking lot, or if you're stuck in traffic. Sure don't want to do that, but it happens. And that is one of the advantages as far as that goes. Now, your air conditioning controls are all going to be right here. Everything for the AC, everything for your heated and ventilated seats here in the front seat area. There's your ventilated seats, and then you've got our heated steering wheel, the heated seats for the driver and the passenger. You can go in here and make whatever changes you need to as far as you have your controls for your first, second, and third row. But I think you pretty much have the idea of what's going on here. But tell me, do you like that? Some people do and some people don't. Now, we're going to have a pass-through style area right here behind that screen that allows for storage. And then you have your volume control here. Now, one thing, if you don't want to actually touch the screen, you don't have to. I'm going to push down on that dial right there, and we can go in right here and do this. And you can see that I can select whatever I need to. Makes it pretty easy to deal with as far as that goes. You can also select right there and go home. And bring up navigation if you need to do that. Yes, there is built-in navigation here. In case you were wondering, I know a lot of people ask about that. Here are our cup holders and our center console, a decent amount of space within that area. And before we hit the road for our test drive, let's talk about driving modes. You do have several here. Now we're going to start with Tour, and then you're going to have your Sport mode and the accompanying graphics that go with that. Also snow and ice. And you will also have My mode, where you can customize everything from the steering to suspension, brake feel, acceleration feel, and motor sound. I'm going to go to Sport right there. You can see the different options that you have where that is concerned. However, there is one more thing here, and it has to do with the button right here. That is called V mode or velocity mode, and you can see what comes up. It's the icon right down here. When you are in V mode, velocity mode, that unleashes all of the horsepower and torque of this Vistiq. Okay, here we go on our test drive, and we're going to get out here and just hit the pedal. Here we go. Sure doesn't take long to get to 75 miles per hour, which actually was not my intention. I was trying to go to 60, but it just got there so quickly. I'll tell you what, V mode makes a big difference. If you want to have some fun, that's where it comes from. From what I've been told by my friend who owns this Vistiq, he's owned multiple EVs over the last couple of years. He told me that once you get that out of your system, dropping the power pedal, the quiet pedal to the floor a few times, you're not as tempted to do it all the time. At least that's been his experience. I don't know, some people might have an experience of wanting to do that more often. But the downside of that, while it is a lot of fun, obviously you're going to use up more charge capacity quicker than you would otherwise. But I'll tell you what, it fills the bill for the acceleration. I'm going to slow back down here a little bit here, and we're going to do this from about a 30 roll and see what happens. Oh, that's actually pretty impressive. I've discovered that the 30 roll, which means you're rolling down the road at 30 miles an hour and you drop the pedal, you floor it, that really is kind of the sweet spot, it seems, with a lot of these EVs, as far as really giving you the ultimate opportunity to feel the acceleration, to get that punch in the gut. It is some kind of an experience, I'll tell you what, a lot of fun. But besides that, it's also a very practical vehicle. You're going to find that it's very comfortable to drive. The driver's seat is comfortable. Everything is nice and adjustable as far as the steering wheel and the driver's seat. So no matter your height, you should have no trouble fitting into the driver's seat and being comfortable and having no trouble whatsoever. It is absolutely amazing what these vehicles can do. But what's interesting to me is that while you have some pretty amazing technology here, it's nothing challenging to learn or use as far as those that maybe haven't had this kind of technology before, and you're a little concerned about that, saying, well, I like the vehicle, but I'm just a little bit nervous about all of that technology. Not difficult to learn or use, and you also have to remember the fact that you are in the perfect place to learn about that through tutorials right here on YouTube. And if there's a particular tutorial you want on, say, the Cadillac Vistiq or something else out there, it may not be a Cadillac model of any type, tell me down in the comments section and I will be more than happy to make that video for you. You do have one pedal driving, so if you want to take advantage of that, you can, which what that is, if you're not familiar, is using kinetic energy with the brakes to keep the charge capacity up for the battery and help that charge capacity to last a little bit longer. And just one of those many things that a lot of EVs have as far as the driving experience goes. Now you can turn that on and off just as you would imagine. But overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive, easy to see out of, but you have all those great safety features that I talked about earlier, plus your rear view camera mirror. So you really have a lot of benefits here that will help you to stay safe out on the road and make for quite an enjoyable driving experience if an EV is what you're looking for. And there it is, the 2026 Cadillac Vistiq. Is it a better option than the Escalade IQ? Tell me what you think down in the comments section and why you would choose as you do. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. I'd like to say a special thanks to my buddy Wesley for loaning me his new ride so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Please be sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media. And if you'd like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.